It was the early 1990s, and I'd just been made redundant. This coincided with a divorce that stripped me of practically everything I owned. I wasn't blessed with the best of divorce lawyers. As you can imagine, I ended up with a poor deal. My ex-wife took all the money and left me with the house and its 20-year mortgage. When I was made redundant, I missed payments and the bank took the house. This is what led to me wandering the streets of Maine, one cold December afternoon. I'd been trying to hitch a lift for about 30 minutes, trying to get to my sister's house on the other side of town, where I was hoping for a warm night's sleep. Dressed in dirty clothing and in dire need of a shave, I wasn't really selling myself to the residents of the town. But, eventually, a truck stopped. It was old and battered, with flaky paint and a good deal of rust. The passenger side window went down. I stepped closer and craned my neck to see the driver. He was about a decade past middle age, with a gray beard and a bald head. He asked me where I was going, told me it was on his route and motioned me inside. I got in the truck. He eased the vehicle away from the curb. We were both silent as the truck weaved through the streets of Maine. The driver had answered my attempts at conversation with a simple nod or a shake of the head. So, I had given up on the small talk. It was late afternoon. Light was fading. When I first realized that we weren't going the right way, it didn't strike me as strange for some reason. Maybe it was because I felt comfortable. My guard was down, and I didn't suspect the driver of having any sinister intentions. But, when I questioned the driver and he didn't reply, my heart started to beat faster. I'd lived in Maine all my life. And I knew this route was taking us south. Not north, where we needed to be heading. I looked around. We were in the sticks. One side of the road was lined by a forest. Fields flanked the other side. No civilization was in sight. "Where are we going?" I asked. "This road is taking us south." The driver replied. "This is the route we need to take." I protested as beads of sweat formed on my hands. I asked him to stop the truck and let me out. He waved a hand and dismissed my request. I considered opening the door and jumping out. We were driving fast, about 40 miles per hour. It was dangerous. I inched my hand towards the door handle and fished around for it while staring straight ahead. There was nothing there. I looked down. There was no door handle on the door, just a hollow and a lump of plastic where it had once been. I was shaking. I begged the driver to stop the truck. He turned his head and just looked at me through blank eyes. As I contemplated what was waiting for me in the next few minutes or hours, the truck screeched to a halt, as the driver rounded a corner. A herd of cattle were crossing the road. A farmer with a walking stick was guiding the cows across the asphalt. I jerked forward and smacked on the window repeatedly, trying to get the farmer's attention. The driver barked something at me and tried to hold me still. I freed a hand, found the horn, and blared it repeatedly. I saw the farmer turn. I continued pressing the horn, again, and again. As the last cow crossed the road, the farmer approached the truck. He tapped on the driver's window. I screamed for help and waved my arms around. The driver wound down his window. "Let me out," I cried. "This man won't let me out." The driver just shrugged. He told the farmer he was driving me to my destination, as I had requested. The farmer came round to the passenger side and let me out of the car. I jumped out and the driver drove off, while shouting insults at me. The farmer was very friendly. He tried to calm me down and ushered me over to his 4x4. I sat in the front seat and he offered to drive me to my sister's house. The farmer took the same route as the truck driver had been taking. I was confused. We were still heading south, not north. I asked the farmer why we were taking this route. He told me that there were major road closures further east and north. It was necessary to divert south, before driving north. Had the truck driver been driving me to my sister's house, as I had asked him to? Had he had no sinister intentions? I thought about the missing door handle. It was an old truck. Maybe it had simply broken off. But why didn't he stop the truck, as I had asked? Maybe he did not wish to leave me alone in the middle of nowhere. Maybe he was just as confused as me. I felt stupid and embarrassed. I felt ashamed. The farmer drove me to my sister's house. I got out and spent the next week there, before I moved into a shelter. I always regretted my actions and the way I treated the truck driver. As time passed, I became more and more convinced that he had only intended to drive me to my destination. The incident had been pushed to the back of my mind, and it only came to the surface again 3 years later. When I picked up a local newspaper, the headline story was about a serial killer who had been arrested and held in custody for the murder of 7 males over the course of 20 years. The last killing, the one in which he had been caught red-handed, had been committed just weeks previously. When I saw the face of the serial killer on the front page of the newspaper, I felt fear like I hadn't felt since I was stuck in the battered old truck. It was the face of the farmer. Thanks for watching. Please let us know what you think in the comments section. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to receive more spooky tales. Ciao ciao.